read your bulletin, you will see that the title of today's message is Elohim's Refiner's Fire. Elohim's Refiner's Fire, and we are going to read out of Malachi, okay, and Malachi, if you have the Hebrew. Malachi chapter 3, verses 1 through 4. If you're there, say Amen.
Amen.
And it reads as follows. See, I am sending my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. Then suddenly Adon, you are seeking, comes to his Hekal, even the messenger of covenant, in whom you delight. See, he is coming, says Yahweh of hosts. And who is able to bear the day of his coming? And who is able to stand when he appears? For he is like the fire of a refiner. For he is like the fire of a refiner, and like the soap of a launderer. And he shall sit as a refiner, and a cleanser of silver. And he shall cleanse the sons of Levi, and refine them as gold and silver, and they shall belong to Yahweh, bringing near an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Yehudah in Yerushalayim be pleasant to Yahweh in the days of old, as in the days of old, as in former years. You may be seated. You may be seated. You may be seated. I want you to understand something. The word refine is almost like purifying or removing of. See, like for example, when you guys are out in the street, okay, and we were young and we went out, we played all day, we had to come in and our mothers would take the soap and she'd be the launderer, you understand? And by the time she got through with you, you were nice and clean again. You smelled like her baby all over again. When you came in, you were smelling a little bit. Okay, with all the perspiration and everything. That's perfectly okay. But what I want us to understand, okay, oh, by the way, the word Heikal is sanctuary, for those of you who may not be familiar.
Temple.
Temple or sanctuary. Okay? And the essence of what we're getting at is that in order for you to come into the sanctuary or the temple, you really needed to be clean. But what I want to do is I want to set and establish a foundation now of this entire refining process so we may really get the logistics. So for the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to be going over some foundational scriptures so that we understand the concept of this refining fire, okay, and why we need it and why it's so important. Okay, turn to 2 Timothy chapter 2. If you're there, say Amen. Let's go to verses 20 to 22. But in a large house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and clay. Okay? And if you read 2 Samuel 8:10, it also talks about vessels of brass. So, but in a large house there are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also of wood and clay, and some unto value and some unto no value. If then anyone cleanses himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto value, having been kodesh, of good use to the Adon, having been prepared for every good work, and flee from the lust of youth, but pursue righteousness, believe, love, peace with those calling on the Adon out of a clean heart. Now want you to understand something that's really very interesting, and that's that each and every one of you sitting here today is a vessel. You are a vessel. You're either going to be a vessel of gold, a vessel of silver, a vessel of brass, a vessel of wood, a vessel of clay. But you're going to be a vessel. And I want you to understand that there's a whole lot we're going to go into with respect to this refining fire. Because the refining fire is for you. It's not for the refiner. It's for you. And you should actually ask Elohim to take you aside and run you through the refining fire. Because when it's all said and done, you're the better for it. And when I say you're, I mean you, plural. Okay? Because if he's going to run you through it, let him throw me in first. Got it? We're all in wonderful need of this refining fire. But I want you to understand something. This is the part that the church, and I'm not going to use the word, but the body. Okay? Having been prepared for every good work. Why is it that people in the temple or in the sanctuary or in the body don't really want to work for the ministry? Every one of you here has either a fivefold call or ministry of helps call, one or the other. You're not going to be in church doing nothing. You're going to have something to do. No matter who you are. See, the thing is that if you don't have a relationship with Elohim, if you don't have a relationship with Yahweh himself, the Ruach HaKodesh, and Yeshua HaMashiach, you're not going to know what to do, when, where, and how. See, because it is Elohim who determines what it is, and then Yeshua HaMashiach and the Ruach HaKodesh within you see to it that it gets carried out. But if you don't have a relationship with them, you don't know what you're doing. Or what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? Do you know how many invitations I've gotten to return to the mainland and to some good places and lucrative places, and I'm still here? I just got a call this week. A guy called me and says, listen, you're not going to believe this. He says, I've got 4 acres and a house right next to a river with some of the finest running fish. How many of you I'm a little crazy about fishing? Anybody here? In case you didn't know, bring out your pole, let's get going. You understand what I'm saying? But unless Elohim tells me to go there, I've got no business being there on a permanent basis. Okay? And it's no reason why I love to fish. Because he turned around and said, that's okay, you can love to fish all you want, but I'm going to make you a fisher of men. I said, really? What's that in the face so I get to hook him in? That was not a proper question. That's not what he meant. You understand what I'm saying? I want us to really get a hold of this message today, because after today, all of you have to figure out what you need to do here. Go before Elohim and find out what you need to do here. Whether it be singing, cleaning, the boys take care of the chairs, etc. I don't care what you do. Figure out what it is you need to do. Okay, because when you figure out what it is you need to do, then Elohim himself will anoint you, appoint you, assign you, and then you become an edifier of others with what you do. You understand that? Yes. That is critically important. Okay? In a church where we have such masses, it's not about the number. It's about who's here with us now. Okay? I want you to know that every one of those chairs is filled with an angel who's paying close attention to what's being said. So this room is not empty. I think one of the reasons we only have such few of us is because There's so many angels who want to get here. Just so they can listen. Okay, now let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Okay?
Amen.
We're going to go through verses just 3 and 4.
Amen.
Okay? For this is the desire of Elohim, your Kodeshah, that you should abstain from whoring. Each one of you should know how to possess his own vessel in Kodeshah and respect. Wow. Let me read that one more time so it sinks in. For this is the desire of Elohim, your Kodeshah, that you shall abstain from whoring, that each one of you should know how to possess his own vessel in Kodeshah and respect. Now, let's go to verse number 5. Not in passion of lust like the Gentiles who do not know Elohim. Now, this is making reference to those who know and those who don't know. All of those of you who are sitting here know. This is for you. You should know. You should know how to possess your own vessel. And in case you're wondering, it's talking about your body. That's the vessel we're talking about here. Okay? And it is very, very important. Because remember, like I said, you're either going to be gold, silver, brass, wood, clay, or a very good work. In every good work, that's what you're going to be. Now, turn to Zechariah. This is all foundational stuff so that you'll have it when you need it. If you're there, say Amen.
Amen.
And if you're wondering, it's Zechariah. Zechariah in the Hebrew. Zechariah. Let's go to chapter 13. And when you get there, let's go to verses 6 through 9. And one shall say to him, what are these wounds in your hands? And he shall say, because I was wounded at home by those who love me. Wow, really? I was wounded at home by those who love me. All sort of work against my shepherd and against the man who is my companion, declares Yahweh of hosts. Smite the shepherd and let the sheep be scattered, but I shall turn to my hand upon the little ones. And it shall be throughout all the land, declares Yahweh, that 2/3 therein are cut off and die, and 1/3 is left therein. And I shall bring the third into fire. See, he's a nice, refining fire. And I shall bring the third into the fire, and refine them as silver is refined, and try them as gold is tried. They shall call my name, and I shall answer them. I shall say, this is my people, while they say, Yahweh is my Elohim. Woo! You want to ask about authority to some refining fire? Go right ahead. By the time he gets through with you, he's going to be able to say that you are his people while you say, this is Yahuwah my Elohim. Can you see that by the time you come out of that fire, whether you're silver or gold, you're going to have a luster about you that exemplifies his glory? Am I the only one getting excited here by getting thrown into a furnace? And turn up the heat, turn me into a toasty critter. Do you understand that by the time Elohim gets through and you are there in complete liquid form, and then he takes his hand and takes out all the impurities that are at the top, all the things that are in your life right now that are keeping you from him, that is keeping him from you, all the things that are in your life right now that are still carnal within you, all the things that are within you right now that keep you from every good work. Yes. Come on now. I'm talking about Yahuwah, your Elohim, a complete refining fire. Woo-hoo! He is absolutely phenomenal. You can't possibly ask for anything better. Can you imagine that? He refines you, then says, this is my people. And we get to say, Yahuwah is my Elohim. This is personal, folks. This is personal. This is one-on-one, down-to-earth knuckles. You want to get on that dance floor with him, I'm telling you. By the time he gets through with you, you are going to be dancing up a storm in praise and worship to him. Because he is now my Elohim. Yahuwah, my Elohim. And you can say that with all the confidence, knowing that you are his people.
Yes, yes.
Come on now.
Yes.
Come on. Let's go to Exodus. I want to show you something. Now you notice we're talking about gold and silver being refined. Let me ask you a question. What happens to any piece of wood when you put it in fire? It burns, right? And what are you left with? A bunch of ashes, right?
Yep.
Wrong. I'm talking about a refiner's fire. Let me show you. Go to Exodus chapter 3. Okay? Now watch this. I'm going to go verses 1, 2, and 3 just to give you the setting and the whole thing, okay? And Moshe was shepherding the flock of Yithro, his father-in-law, the Kohen, in Midian, and he led the flock in the back of the wilderness, and he came to Cherev, in the mountain of Elohim. And the messenger of Yahuwah appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. And he looked and he saw the bush was burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. The bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, let me turn aside now and see this great sight, why the bush does not burn. No, the bush was burning, it just wasn't being consumed. Why? Because it was a refining fire. Refining fire never consumes what is burning. It purifies. It takes out pure impurities. It makes it completely unified. It's just one. It is exactly what it needs to be. Nothing more, nothing less. It's 100% pure gold. It's 100% pure silver. It's 100% wood. It's 100% clay, and I'm going to get started with that in a moment. But it's 100% exactly what it's supposed to be. Nothing more and nothing less. Ready to be turned into a vessel unto every good work. So the question is, what are you gifted in and what is your work? Here All right. So vessels of wood can be refined. Now, let's go to Jeremiah or Yeremiah 18. If you're there, say Amen.
Amen.
I'm only going to read the first 4 verses. You guys know the story, I'm sure. Verse 18, verses 1 through 4. Now the word which came to Yeremiah from Yahweh was saying, Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I let you hear my words. So I went down to the potter's house, and I saw him doing a piece of work on the wheel. And the vessel that he had made of clay was ruined in the hand of the potter. So he remade it into another vessel, as it seemed good to the potter to do. How many of you are a lousy piece of clay on a wheel? At least I got one on this one in the room. Had to raise three, you know what I mean? Without him, I'm about the lousiest piece of clay you could ever find on that way. Matter of fact, that you cut it up and plop on a new piece. Clay is the only thing that can actually be messed up on the wheel, broken down, and refinished.
Yeah.
Broken down and refinished. Literally, without even being taken off. Now, let me tell you something about clay that most people don't know. See, if you're a vessel of clay, you're constantly in the fire. Okay? When you get done with the wheel, you're going to put it into the fire. It's called the bisqueware fire. If there's anything wrong with you, then you're going to crack on the first fire. In which case, you go into the rubbish pile, and they got to put on a brand new blob of clay to start you over. And as often as you go into the bisqueware incorrectly, you're going to crack. In other words, as long as you continue to fall short of the mark, or have sin in your life, and sin just means to fall short of the mark. Okay? You could be doing all the right things, but you're missing something in one area. Alright? Whatever it may be. I don't want people, when I say the word sin, I don't want people to think that I'm talking about, you went out and killed something, killed somebody. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about falling short of the mark is what sin is all about. Okay? That means you're gonna have to go through that refining fire a few times. But let's just say that you finally got it all together and you went through the first time. Now Yahweh is going to decide what kind of coat you're going to wear. He's got all kinds of colors. But after he puts this entire finishing glaze on you, guess what happens? You go back into the fire. You go back into the fire. And if there's anything wrong with you then, guess what happens? You crack. Or the glaze will run off you. Or the glaze won't set right. You see, clay is something that's refined and refined and refined. It's first refined when you get it as clay. The second time is refined in the first bisqueware. The third time is refined in the final wear. But it's fire after fire after fire. He is a refiner. And I often wonder, why is it that the clay has to go through so much? When you went into most houses, what they had was vessels of clay. till they had to be made well. And guess what? Even after you're perfectly finished, if they accidentally drop it to the floor, you crack. Meaning what? You need to stay away from sin.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I'm going to go one more scripture to finish our foundation, then we're going to start the message. You heard me. We're going to finish our foundation, then we're going to start the message. Okay? Romans 9:18 to 24. Romans 9. (18 through 24). If you're there, say Amen. So then, he favors whom he wants, and he hardens whom he wants. Then you shall say to me, why does he still find fault? For who has resisted his counsel? But who are you, O man, to talk back to Elohim? You broken crackpot. Who are you, O man, to talk back to Elohim? Shall that which is former say unto who formed it, why have you made me this way? How many of you have problems and complain to Elohim about too big, too thin, too thick, too high, too hard, too dark, too skinny, too thin? You were perfectly and wonderfully made. End of discussion. Why have you made me like this? Doesn't that the potter have authority over the clay? For the same lump makes one vessel of value and another not for value. So you could be a valuable vessel if you're willing to allow him to be. And if Elohim desires to show wrath and to make his power known with much patience, tolerance, the vessels of wrath prepared for destruction, the heathens like I used to be, and that he might make known the riches of his esteem on the vessels of compassion which he has prepared beforehand for esteem, even whom he called, not only us of the Yahudim, but also of the Gentiles. You see that we are included in that call. See, but sometimes we are the vessels that are the complainers. Oh, really? Yeah, really. This is why our brother Shaul, or Paul, was able to say, in all things I've learned to be content. See, you are going to be tried by the one who created you. You are going to be put into the fire. You are going to be refined and re-refined and re-refined until you are a vessel that not only he can pour into, but that he can use unto every good work. You're going to be a vessel like Samuel, who's able to say, when he says, I have a task that needs to get done, you can say, well, here am I, send me. Because you're ready to do every good work. You see, the thing that we like to do is to be pleasing in his sight while still being a little bit of a heathen. That doesn't work. You cannot be pleasing to him if you want to continue being just a little bit of a heathen. Otherwise, you're going to have to go right back into the refining fire, then he's going to go into H and just remove that little heathen thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? The refining of things is for us. And the reason why we need to be refined is because we're going into a world that's in desperate need of reformation. Good word. It's the refiner who can reform. But I'm going to show you later how important this is, this refining. I was going to turn this into a two-part message and end it here, but I said, you know what? We're going to ride. So let's continue. The message is now going to begin. That was all foundation. Got it? Now that you have your foundation, let's get going. Turn to Acts chapter 9, verse 15. There, say Amen. But the Adon said to him, Go, for he is a chosen vessel of mine to bear my name before the nations, sovereigns, and the children of Israel. Okay? Now, for those of you who are wondering about that, this is when Shaul or Paul had his encounter on the road to Damascus. Okay? And Paul or Shaul, okay, on the road there. Now, mind you, he had letters from the church to go take care of the Christians. Encounters Yeshua. He's made blind. He's now 3 days there, and Hananiah is sent to him. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the name Hananiah means grace. So Hananiah gets sent to him, and Hananiah didn't want to go. He said, excuse me there, Yeshua, but this guy, he kills people like me. He feels this guy he's not a good character here. Okay? Because that's what he did. He was persecuting the believers. Okay? But what I want us to see as I go over verse 15, then we're on to 16. But the Adon said unto him, Ananias, for he is a chosen vessel of mine to bear my name before the nations. Let me just ask you a question. Are you one of his chosen vessels? The answer is yes, but you can think about it. Yeah, in verse 16, for I shall show him how much he has to suffer for my name. Are you ready to suffer for his name? Not me. I'm going to go to the Hostess Twinkies. Listen, some of you that are here, you may have to endure some stuff for this Elohim we serve. And those who endure to the end shall be saved. If you're a chosen vessel, and you are, then you have to be prepared for the fact that somewhere along the way you're going to run into some rough patches. Okay? They may throw you in jail like they did in the past, whatever. Now we have so much going on in this country that we're pretty soon going to start hammering the church. Especially now that we're electing people from refugee camps that are anti-Israel and anti-America. How do you put someone who's anti-America into the government? Right here. Wake up. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And yet we're doing it. Now, very important. If you are a chosen vessel, you know you're going to go through some tough times. So just be aware of that. But if you are a chosen vessel, then don't complain about being refined. You're going to be refined for the work you need to do. Do you know that when Shaul or Paul had the encounter in Damascus and he was blind for 3 days, he was actually being taught of Yeshua himself for those 3 days. And we know because as soon as he got his sight back, he turned completely around. That encounter, and let me tell you, there are some people in the body today who need to take that road to Damascus and hope that they get knocked off a horse. They're riding so high on a horse. Woo! They need to get knocked off that horse. Why? Because they haven't been refined. And they're in places they shouldn't be. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Turn to 2 Timothy. Chapter 2 again, let's just go over verse 21. We went over this before, let's go over it one more time. Okay. If then anyone cleanses himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto value, having been kodesh, for good use to the Adon, having been prepared for every good work. This is who you are. The refining fire, when it gets done with you, you are this exact verse here. You have been cleansed. You're now a vessel of value. You are kodesh. Okay? And you are of good use to the Adon for every good work. That's who you are. That's who you are. The question is, does this literally describe you today? If you're not being described by this, then just one time, throw me in and refine me. I tell people all the time, listen, if you ever want to have fun, call Yahuwah out on the carpet and put on your dancing shoes. By the time he gets through with you, you're going to be so much better for him. Okay? Now, I want you to understand something. This is who we are, right? For every good work. Wasn't Yeshua the one who said, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work? Isn't that what he said? Is that you? Okay. Is that you? Because if you are, if you can say yes to that, then greater works than these shall you do in my name. See, I loaded that one up a little bit. Do you understand what I'm saying? If your meat is to do the will of him that sent him in you and to finish his work, then now, in his name who resides within you, you're going to do greater works than he did. Now, I want you to understand this. You're not going to accomplish as many miracles as he did by yourself. It's a collective effort. We together will do many more works than he ever did. Why? Because we outnumber him. And it's his desire that we do such. And I'm going to show you why in a moment. Okay? So, Yahuwah is the refiner. He prepares his vessels for every good work. But he also prepares us for Yahshua's return. This is exciting. 2 Corinthians 4. This is more of a teaching. Second Corinthians 4, verse number 7. And this is the reason why you are. And we have, everybody there? And we have this treasure in earthen vessels, so that the excellence of the power might be of Elohim and not of us. He is looking for vessels that he is able to demonstrate his power here. Are you one of those? Can we plug you in and light up the house, or when we plug you in, will we short circuit the whole doggone thing? Is his power being made manifest on the earth through you? That's what that says. Let me read it one more time. And we have this treasure in earthen vessels, so that the excellence of the power might be of Elohim. The power that we have is of Elohim and not of us. You can't do anything that's heaven bound except repent. Okay? He wants to use you to make himself known here. Can he do that with you? Is that treasure in you? That treasure right here. Okay? And we have this treasure. Do you have that treasure? Again, these are questions you have to answer for yourself. Okay? Go to the book of Numbers. I want to show you something that's kind of interesting. Am I the only one having fun? Must be. Numbers chapter 9. Verse number 15. Now listen to this. And on the day that the Mishkan or tabernacle was raised up, the cloud covered the Mishkan, the tent of the witness, from evening until morning. It was above the Mishkan like the appearance of fire. Listen to me very carefully. This fire has been with us since the beginning. This refining fire has been here since the beginning. And when the tabernacle went up, it was in the tabernacle. And it's been with us ever since. Okay? And the purpose of the whole thing is to get us ready to do every good work as He has intended for us to do. Now I want you to understand something. The work that I have to do may not necessarily be the same work that Alani has to do. Okay? Or that this lovely little young lady has to do. Or what brother Cisco's doing. You understand what I'm saying? But collectively, we all have work that is for Yahuwah in the Shamayim. He's the one who determines what you are to do. There may be some of you in this church who may be called to be intercessors, which means you're going to be a prayer warrior. And I know we have one of those already, but there may be others. What about someone who's a greeter at the door? So when someone comes in, you're the first one they see. Are they going to see someone who's refined with the power and the love of Elohim at the door? See what I'm saying? So I want us to kind of understand it. But isn't it beautiful that even way back when, look, that fire was there. Fire. It was there. Listen, how do you know that Elohim is an all-consuming fire in the Old Covenant? How do you know that for a fact? Because there was a situation where one of his prophets was really picking on the servants of Baal. I'll tell you what, you get all your sacrifices together, I'm going to put mine over here. And would you be so kind as to bring me like 250,000 gallons of water? And let the Elohim who answers by fire be the true one. And throughout the day, all these people were calling out to their gods, and another cutting themselves, nothing was happening. So him being a good prophet said, well, what, is your God out to lunch? That's why he don't hear you? Is he on vacation, baby? I don't see nothing going on. And then all of a sudden, wham! Here came the fire and consumed it all. He's not only a refining fire, he is an all-consuming fire, and I'll show you that later. But he was an all-consuming fire down here. How do we know? Because look what it says. Okay? Look what it says. It says, Oh, where'd they go? From the evening to the morning, he was there all the time. He was consuming this from the evening to the morning. He was there.
Yeah.
His fire was there. Okay? So he stayed, and the funny part about it is that the minute the Mishkan was raised, he was there. And he covered it. He covered the whole thing. He covered the whole thing, which means what? He consumed it all. It's all under him. Nothing outside of him. The entire Mishkan was covered. He's all consumed. Meaning what? When he consumes you, he wants no one else to have anything to do with you in the spirit realm. It's all about you and him. And he will share his glory with no one in the spirit realm from you. That's what idolatry is all about. Stealing his glory for somebody else. Okay? All right, so we got through Numbers 9:15. Let's get to Hebrews. And after I use this one to close because I could have dragged this on all afternoon. But it's a nice teaching for you to understand the significance of this all-consuming fire. Okay. Hebrews 12. (28 and 29). Therefore, receiving an unshakable reign, okay, that's also interchangeable with kingdom, but reign, that's where the kings reign. Let us hold the favor through which we serve Elohim pleasantly, pleasingly, with reverence and awe. Therefore, receiving an unshakable reign, let us hold the favor through which we serve Elohim pleasingly with reverence and awe. For indeed, Elohim is a consuming fire.
Yes, he is. Amen.
I told you I'd get to it. He is a consuming fire.
Yes, he is.
Oh, man. Consume me all you want. The more he consumes me, the better off I am. Now, I want you to understand this, okay? Elohim is a consuming fire. He's all consumed. We are the vessels, gold, silver, wood, clay. Okay? Refined by this consuming fire. Unto every good work, pleasingly in reverence and in awe. In other words, you should be happy that he has allowed you the privilege of serving him. See, what? You want me to do what? Serve who? That's the problem. People today don't want to serve him. How do we know? Because they're too busy throwing them out of places. We here in the United States of America have taken Elohim and we have thrown him out, and then we wonder why our country is going to hell. We wonder why our children are being killed, why people are rising up against other people in hatred and beating them. We're wondering why all the things that are going on in the world are so bad here in America, because we have taken Elohim. We have not only complained to him, but we have asked him to leave. When you have these mass shootings in the school, oh, why would God let this happen? Why are you talking about God? You threw him out. Shut up. If you throw him out, you can't expect him to be there. If you've asked him to leave, he's going to leave. Why? Because he's still Elohim, and he's still a gentleman, and he's still hurting because you threw him out. See, we think that it's okay. It's not okay. America is going to hell in a breadbasket. We have so much blood stain on our hands from abortions. It's amazing. And yet we're still doing it. Now we've gone as far as authorizing sin. Oh yeah, you have a problem here. Smoke pot. It's legal. Get yourself all high on pot. The word says should be made with a sober mind. Okay? We sell wines and spirits all across the country. Stuff that'll get you drunker than a skunk. I don't know if a skunk ever gets drunk, but that's the term they use. You understand what I'm saying? We're wondering what's going on with our country. Listen, if you throw out your Creator, you take away from yourself His love. If you take His love away from you, you're left with hate. And we're seeing that today. Not only is the hate there, but you know what the biggest problem with America is? Because we have thrown Him out and His love is gone, we have lost our moral compass. It's His moral compass that establishes this nation. And now what? We're up in arms because we have a president who says, I'm going to stand by Israel. Really? We're supposed to. That's what we're called to do. But that's creating problems. Because the love is gone. The only thing that's happening. You guys want to create a nice hat? You know the Make America Great Again hat? What we should do is take that hat and put a little thing on top, just poke it into the hat and say, love will make America great again. It's the love of Elohim that made us great in the first place. Through the Abrahamic covenant. It has nothing to do with man. It was the blessings of Elohim bestowed upon our nation that made us so great. But this is where we are. Because we have become vessels with no value. That's what that means. Okay? When you choose to do the things of the world, you are a vessel of no value to the kingdom. That's what you are. And until you get back being right with the Father, that's all you're going to be. Now, what I want you guys to do is put away your scriptures, and I just want you to listen. You may close your eyes if you like and just hear what I'm about to say. Okay? Elohim is an all-consuming fire. He wants all of you. We all have work to do for Him. Elohim is a refining fire. He prepares you, He equips you, He provides for you, He anoints you, and then He sends you out. He never leaves you nor forsakes you. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is your power. He is your authority. He is the one who is in complete control. So surrender to Him today. That you may be able to complete every good work that He sent you out to do, pleasing in His sight. Bearing good fruit unto His reign, bringing Him honor and glory all the days of your life until He takes you home to spend eternity with Him. See, Elohim is the refining fire. He is the all-consuming fire. Elohim created you for a purpose. He has a plan, and His plan is perfect for your life. Surrender to it. Get a hold of it. Encompass it within your heart. Bring it into yourself. Make that the reason why you get up in the morning, you get up in the evening, you get up throughout the day, because you know He is the one who's in control. He is the one who sent you. He is the one who anointed you. He is the one who's taking care of you. And He is the one who will eventually spend eternity with you. Embrace Elohim. Embrace his plan. Embrace everything that he stands for. Live for him. Serve him, because he lives and serves you too. He serves you now, he'll serve you today, and he'll serve you forever. Rejoice, I say, and again rejoice, for he is Yahuwah your Elohim. Elohim, your refiner's fire.